Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Here in the Netherlands, it's a comfy 30 degrees Celsius or not so comfy 30 degrees Celsius, depending on in which camp you are. I'm firmly stuck in the middle of the latter camp. I prefer between a temperature between the 20 and the 25 degrees Celsius. But us, we got to do with what we get. At least it's nice and sunny, so that's good. Oh, hi, welcome, Dida. It's great to see you join. I hope that the noise will stay down for you outside. Oh, you've got a 22 degrees. Oh, that's awesome. Because here I went out this morning for a walk, and it was already quite warm and a bit uncomfortable, but not too much yet. But at the moment, it's rather uncomfortable. So I'm happy to stay inside and do some writing. And to support me in my writing, I brought my trusted Dopper flask to be able to drink enough today, and I brought another bowl of cherries because I just really like them, and because it's so hot, I also brought some chips to make sure that I get enough salt as well. That's important, and it's a nice treat when you reach goals, when you reach writing goals. It's nice today, you say, Dida. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I hope you found a nice spot to write. How did everybody's writing go this week? Last time we checked in, it was Thursday, and now we have just 1 week of writing behind us. I haven't been able to write anymore since last Thursday, so I hope to be able to catch up and to reach my goal for this weekend of 5,000 words. But how are you all guys doing? It will be fun to hear. You're at 32k, Dida. Oh my, that's awesome. I know that you tend to write a lot. Is that also close to your goal for this month, or do you have another goal for this month? My goal is about what did I say? I think 25k. You have a goal of 90k. Well, if you end your first week with 32k, then I think you're on a excellent track to reach 90k. That's wonderful. That's great to hear. And I'll just see how far I can get into my 25k, and who knows what happens, and maybe I'll reach way over my 25k goal. We'll see how things get along. In the meantime, I would like to start with our first writing session of today and see how we all do. You might up it, really. Oh wow! I mean, that's awesome. That's incredible. Well, for now, I decided not to up it and just to stick to my 25k. I think that's enough for the moment. We'll see how it goes. So I'd like to start the first sprint session. During the sprint session, I will turn off my mic and so that you won't be distracted by my keyboard. And this time, I hope I press the right combination of buttons instead of the last time. And then we'll check in with some word games later on. Did I just keep going, Ilse? You can reach 25k. Yeah, I really hope so. It would be awesome. It's for what it's the piece I'm writing at the moment is still the background story. This is really not going to be in the prologue. I originally thought I might have the prologue at first, but it is way too much background info on the main antagonist. So it's not going to be in the prologue, but there are some pieces in there that might be referenced to in later points, or how do you call it, in flashbacks, or some scenes might have a base in what I write at this moment. So let's get to it, and I wish you all a lot of fun during this first sprint. Good luck. In my case, I've been writing a bit more about how the magic or some how do I say that without revealing too much? Let's just keep it at magic. I've been writing a sort of introduction lesson for my main antagonist about the kind of magic that she will use mainly in the future. This is this is something she hasn't been taught yet, but it will be very important in the future for her, and she will come to depend on it. And if in her case, her grandmother is the one who will be who is teaching her those lessons that she needs to know, at least for the moment. That might change in the future, depending on how things go from here, both in the village and outside, and with her grandmother and with others. So we'll see how that goes. It's for now it's fun to explore this part of magic. I hadn't really delved into it, and it's fun to do. And it made me realize that maybe I should write a similar thing for the other parts of magic that are more commonly used. And I might just write a piece of my other characters, of my main protagonists, back from when they were in school or something. I haven't decided that yet. It's again not something that will be in my books, because my characters are way beyond school age. They are older, they have jobs, so they won't go to school anymore. But well, some lessons they will remember, and of course the experience and the knowledge they got at school, and they got when they got lessons about it either at school or from others, are things that they will continue using in their lives. So it is important. Although I have to say that the more common magic is something I had already worked out a bit more. I know a bit more about that, so that's a little bit easier to write. This particular part of magic is something I have mentioned in the past in my books, or in my drafts, I have to say. But I hadn't delved into it enough, and the more I do that now, I find that there might come up some disturbing things that are more disturbing than maybe I had originally in mind, but it will be I think it will be a nice contrast to what the protagonists have learned, and how things work for them. And they might need to know a thing or two as well about this part of magic, about this kind of magic, to be able to develop enough, to learn enough, to go to the end of their story, to the end of their development. So we'll see how that goes. I hope you all are having fun writing your story as well. And let's see how we all can get to our goals from July. I'm looking forward to that. I might have to go in an hour or so, but that will be just I will take a short break. Not entirely. I won't quit the stream, but I have a package that will be delivered today, and I expect it will be delivered during the stream. So when you see me going for a minute, there's nothing going wrong. I just need to pick up the package that's being delivered. So I'll keep you posted about that. I've been thinking about my main antagonist. She has been through a lot when I start the story and when readers start to read it. I truly hope that what I mentioned in the previous live stream, that people can feel a certain amount of respect for this antagonist, because she has been through a lot, and it all depends on the choices we are presented with and the tools we have and the tools we have available to us at the moment, but also our experience that we have had in life and the people around us who may or may not help us with certain things. So it will be interesting to see how she turns out in the end, and I hope the future readers of my book will at least respect her. Or I mean, I can understand that they really don't like the choices she will be making in the future, but that's all part of the story. Dida, you say antagonists are fun. Yes, I completely agree with that. They can be a lot of fun. And it's not, I mean, an antagonist doesn't need to be a hardcore villain, as in only killing people and things like that. I mean, they can also do good things. And of course, in their eyes, they do good things, because for them, it is a how do you say that? The way they see it, it is a good thing to reach a certain goal, or to reach their own goal. It might not be the best method, but it gets the job done. So yeah, that is that's always a challenge. And you keep in mind that Hitler apparently loved children. Yeah, he did apparently. And in the end, I think that he only loved certain children. Let's keep it at that. And they, I mean, even the toughest gangster loves his wife, or loves, loves the local food that is being prepared, or I don't know, there are so many things that you can admire in a villain or antagonist, or things that you can at least respect the antagonist for, and I think that is important to happen. Did you say contradictions? Yeah. That's true. Dida, how did your writing session go? I'm curious to hear what you managed to do. They're very black or white. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, Dida. I think that those books where antagonists or villains are really black or white, or antagonists and protagonists are really black and white, those can become flat characters, kind of boring characters, and that's I think that's not good. That doesn't contribute to the story enough. At the same time, I can also imagine that it is not easy for an author to how do I say that? to completely flesh out an antagonist or a villain, depending on what you have in mind. You wrote about 750. Wow, excellent! You're doing great. Well, I noticed that I'm at least halfway to my goal of today of 5K. I'm at 2,551 words, so at least I'm halfway. So let's see how far I can get today. Hopefully, I can get to the 5K today. That would be awesome. Shall we do another sprint? Because that would be fun. And it's I see that I will continue with the first lesson for my main antagonist. I keep talking about a main antagonist because she's not the only antagonist in the story. My main character, she's a healer mage, and she has her own antagonist. And how that will play out is something we will see in the future. And the main antagonist is someone who is the antagonist for the entire group of main characters that plays an important role in my books, and that's. So that's why I keep calling her a main antagonist. And to give her a name, I took a long time to give her a proper name. I wanted to have a name that was good and fun, and not necessarily how do I say that? Not necessarily precisely negative. So I came up with I found the name Moira. I know I found it, and I have the meaning of that name somewhere, but I have to be honest, and I don't remember where. So I can't see. I can't tell you exactly what her name means, but I'll get back to you about that. Dida, you have to see how long I can be. You can be in. There's thunder building up, and it's coming fast. Oh! Be careful with that. Here in the Netherlands, they predict thunder and lightning, heavy thunder and lightning for tomorrow afternoon. So that's they actually gave out a warning for that. I think it's code yellow or something for tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see how that fares. So you guys have that already now. Okay. Well, I hope that everything goes all right, and that your internet and power keeps up. That would be great. You like Moira? Thank you. It's I like the name, and I it's one of the names that I thought of, and this one I remember when I chose the name, that this one was the one that meant what I needed in the story. That's the Fates. I kind of missed why what that means. What do you mean with that? That's the Fates. And for all of you who are currently outside, make sure that you either have enough sunscreen on you as a protection, especially if you are in the Netherlands where the sun is shining and the sky is blue. I mean, it's awesome. It's great to see, but you also can burn easily. You can easily get sunburns. Dida, the Moiras are the sisters of Fates. Oh, okay. I think I read another meaning of the name Moira, but I like that as well. I'm going to include that in my world building information, in my character information. I mean, let's see. That's the beauty of using Scrivener. I use Scrivener to write my novel in, but I also use Scrivener to do all my world building and to do how do I say that? To do my world building and my character profiles and things like that, and my research and everything is in there. It's all what I need, and that is why I really like to use Scrivener. And I also use Google Docs, but that is just to jot down ideas when I'm I don't know, when something comes up, when an idea comes up at work or wherever I am. My apologies. My apologies. That was just a yawn. It's all those are the moments, just when something, when an idea pops up, or when I'm out for a walk, for example, or watching something on the television, or last time I wrote something when I was with family. Someone mentioned something, and I had the idea. Oh, I can use that, or it triggered some idea for world building, so I jotted down in my document, and that's in Google Docs, because that's quite easy to use from a cell phone. And did you say the Moiras are the sisters of fates, except from that I think Irish at once. I think Moira is an Irish name, but it does sound Irish at least. It's I'm not exactly sure what the meaning is. I'll get back to that in the next live stream. It would take a bit of time to figure that out at the moment, and I'd rather not do that, because that would be a shame to do that now. My apologies for the key tapping on the keyboard. Okay. So I think that we can continue with another writing session if you are up to that. Guys, make sure that you stay hydrated and that you get enough salt as well during the warm weather, because it's something that we all really need. That's important to do, to make sure that you can keep on going. So if you're all up to it, let's go for another sprint. I will need to think about that more properly. And that will be fun. But that is something I will do at a later time, not now. For now, it's just fun to work with it, to work through it as I go along. My apologies for the yawning. It's warm here, and that sometimes makes me sleepy a bit sleepy. I did get a good night rest, so that's good. But I was awake around, what was it? I think 4:30 a.m. this morning. So I've been awake for quite a while already. But that's okay. It's the weekend, and I can do whatever I want. So I might just turn in early tonight. But I'll see just how it goes. In the meantime, I was telling you a bit about what I'm writing currently. It is fun to do, or at least for now, for this background story. I find it fun to do, to simply write without a proper outline, or what I feel is a proper outline. For myself, I mean, it all depends on what you prefer, and without this part of the world having been built. What do I mean with that? It's not so much a world like a planet that I mean, but it's the part of the magic. It is the part where you say which tools are being used, how they are used, but also how the tools are being made, because that might make a difference as well to some people. And of course it depends on the kind of magic that you use, and what is important in your world. In my world, magic is a character on its own as well, or I regard it as a character on its own. Magic chooses the people who are who are worthy. Shall I say it? Let me say it that way. Who are worthy to, or who can be worthy in the future to execute magic. And this goes especially for the people who have elemental magic. Elemental magic is fire, water, earth, and air. And that is, it's not that they have that in themselves. Elemental mages are mages who have access to the elements in the world, and they can control the level of access they have, but they can't control the elements themselves in the same way. It doesn't work like that. Which also means that if things go sour, the elements might take over and might really wreak havoc for the mage or for the surroundings or whatever she was trying to do. And this part of magic, what I'm writing about now, for Moira, for my main antagonist, it's not an elemental magic, but it is a magic that is, how can I say that without revealing too much? It is a magic that is, let me say it like this, it isn't widely used and widely recognized. So that that way, it is. Yeah, I will keep it at that, because otherwise I would give away too much. But the mistake I haven't really thought about all the implications that has for my main antagonist, especially for the period where she was still learning it. And I haven't thought about what she knows and what she can do with that magic. I know certain things she can do, and that will play especially in later books and in the end game, in the final battle. Then we will really see that how it plays along. And that won't be an easy thing, but it is, how shall I say that? It's not an easy thing, but at the moment it is important for me to know, and the readers later on will slowly find out how things go, how things work, and what it means for the antagonist, but also for the protagonists, because of course that is important as well. So yeah, there's a lot to figure out at the moment, but it's also fun to do. So yeah, it takes time, but that's okay. In the meantime, how have you all been doing? Let me know in the chat if you are with us at the moment, or in the comments below, and I will check. I will check later on and respond to the comments I find. And if you would like to share your experiences and if you have questions about world building, or if you're stuck with your story and you don't know how to continue, let me know in the comments and I will try to help you. You're also very much welcome to join our Discord. It's a special Discord for NaNoWriMoers who would like to know more about world building, and who would like to delve deeper into that, and who would also like to complete their projects with us. We help each other with sparring, with bouncing ideas of each other. And with word sprints when we have the chance. So that's it's fun to do. So be sure to check out our Discord as well. So that's that's fun, and that can help. It helps me a lot. Together with Dida, my moderator, I have been sparring for quite a few years already about our stories, and we find that that it makes our writing process easier, both in actual writing, but also in creating our world and everything that plays in our world, and that is important for our characters. And sometimes, it's little things as, do I use a robe, or do I use pants instead of a skirt for a female character. And sometimes it's bigger things like maps, and how an environment works, how topology works, how can you have cities on opposite parts of a lake, for example, and still have a good bond between the cities, things like that. We spar about that, and it helps us improve our story and improve our world, make our story and our world more immersive. That also, because we tell each other about it, and sometimes it's just, I've had times where I would just tell Dida a few sentences of what I was thinking for world building, for example, and she kept asking me questions about how things worked and what things looked like and things like that, and that really helped me along to make for example, a creature, or to design a creature. I have to say it properly, or to think about the layout of a building, and for example, Dragon City, which is a place I will be really creating in 3D in my on my other channel in the future, on my studio channel. I will be creating it in a game environment, of a game environment engine, so that you can have a really good look at what I have in mind for Dragon City and how it works and what you can find in the city, because it is a city that that is placed inside a humongous cave, and think like the Hanson Dune caves, and things like areas like you can have in, for example, the Mortal Engines. I found that the Free City, I think it was called. I'm not entirely sure anymore. The last city on Earth, not the driving city, but the last physical city. It had very nice sort of areas, and that is. I was inspired by that to have that in a way in Dragon City. I will be doing it differently, but yeah, that inspired me. And for example, also the Heavenly Portal, as it is called in China. Those are all things that inspired me with the design of Dragon City. And for now, it's a design literally on paper and in my head. It's just world building in Scrivener, and I will be actually creating it in the Unity engine. That is a game engine, but I have where you also have the possibility to entirely create the environment that you want to work in. And in this case, I will create Dragon City at some point in the future on my studio channel in a live stream. But those are things that we spar about, and one of the things that I will also show you later on. It's a design I'm currently working on. It's the Flutter Nymph. It's a creature that is inspired by the sea angels. That's a kind of plankton. It's a very small creature in real life. I think it's a few centimeters long. Maybe it's max 10 centimeters or something. The largest ones. And I was inspired when I saw it, and I decided to make a creature out of it for not only for Tergane Chronicles, but also for Genema Chronicles. And the Genema Chronicles is a game that I'm working on. So that is something I will show you later. I will probably make a making of video of that on my studio channel, and I might do it here as well. But I probably will not do it on a live stream. So yeah, those are all things that oh, one moment, I need to go to pick up the package. Well, I got lucky. My new phone arrived today. That was the package I just received. So I can play around with that later on. My old phone just wouldn't work anymore with for calling and being called and things like that. And my SIM card had been tested, but well, the SIM cards worked, but the phone didn't work. At least not in that respect. Other parts still work, but it's a question on of when they when the phone will eventually die. So I thought I'd just buy my new phone right now, and not wait until my old phone would really die upon me. So where were we? Yes, sparring with other people. They say often that writing is a lonely job. In a way it is, because you are the only one who can write your story, except for ghostwriters, but they, if I'm correct, they will write what you tell them to write. So I have no experience with ghostwriters, but if my information is correct, that's basically it. But in the base, you are the only one who can write your story, who can write what you came up with. So in that respect, you can call it lonely, but it doesn't mean that you don't have contact with other people while writing your book, and that is where sparring comes in, and where it is even good to do that, because in that part of the process, you already find what works and what doesn't, and things you might have forgotten or you might have not thought of yet to include in your world building and in your story. That is the beauty of having a sparring partner when you're writing a book. So if you don't have one yet, please feel free to reach out and to ask for help for a sparring partner, because it really can help you to develop your world further, and to develop your story further and better, and your characters and everything in it. That really helps. At least that is my experience, and I find I hear that from others in our Discord as well. It is helpful, just because a sparring partner might think of things that you haven't thought of yourself, or they might see the inconsistencies that you don't see anymore because you have been working on it for such a long time. So that is why it is very handy to have a sparring partner, even long before your story is ready to send to alpha readers. In the previous live stream, I also talked about alpha and beta readers and test groups. I have the terms alpha and beta from game design, from game testing, where you also have testers way before alpha tests. But normally an alpha test in game design is where you basically test the technical parts. Does the crafting works as it's supposed to? Do the quests work as they supposed to? Things like that. And the beta testing is when you test more if larger groups in your MMORPG, for example, can be handled, or if it can be handled to for standalone games that you play on your own. Beta testers will help you get the bugs out, but also localization things and things like that. And in writing, I see that in a similar way. Alpha readers can help with getting the glaring mistakes out of it, but not only the glaring mistakes, because beta readers can catch those as well, but also the smaller mistakes that that might not be noticed at first, but that will be that can become problematic in the future. And they will also pay attention to the storyline, to the character development, and things I see there. Do you have open endings, or do you have forgotten side storylines that you haven't finished yet, for example? And then when it comes time for the beta readers, then you have the biggest problems should have been solved by then. And beta readers will pay more attention also to the story, and maybe also to things like spelling, grammar, and you have the test groups like people of color and the LGBTI plus community. I do not know the exact name for it, but I think it's important that people from that community also read your books, and people of color also, but not only people of color, and not only the LGBTIQ community, but also people from other religions, for example. You have to be very careful to either not stereotype people from other religions and from other cultures and other colors, or stereotype them in a way that is logical in your story, but doesn't offend the reader, or it offends the reader in such a way that how shall I say that? That it has a function in your story, and it doesn't mean that you approve of what is being done. If you look at Game of Thrones, for example, there is slavery in Game of Thrones, but it doesn't mean that that George R. R. Martin approves of slavery. On the contrary, he lets Daenerys end all slavery. So those are things to think about. Those are things that you can of course you can wait until you have your alpha readers and your beta readers and the test groups, but it is wonderful if you can already have that with your sparring partner. If your sparring partner can already give you input on that and give you responses, comments on that, because it can enrich your story, and that is important, I think. So that's all about world building, sparring partners, and what they can help with. I think it's time to have another writing session. We're going back to a writing session of 25 minutes again, and I wish you all a currently doing. For me, I was able to write 615 words. That was even while I was contemplating on what to write and why things were a bit, shall we say, a bit tough to write. I wasn't exactly sure how things would play out. But it worked in the end, so that's a happy result. I'm quite happy with it. With the 615 words, I am now at a total of 3,731 words of my 5,000 word goal for this weekend, so that's going good. I would like to take a little break to get something to drink and to take a little bathroom break. So I will see you in about 5 minutes. If you have the chance, grab some snacks, grab a new drink, and I will see you in 5 minutes. And welcome back, everyone. Oh, one moment. Welcome back. I hope you're having a wonderful writing weekend. I will do one more writing sprint for now, and I will end the stream around 5 p.m. I wish you all a lot of fun, and let's start with the next writing sprint. Right. I wrote an incredible amount of 683 words. I'm totally surprised by that, but I'm very happy about it. It's going all right. The 683 words now make a complete total of 4,414 words. So I'm kind of tempted to see if I can write the remaining 600 words in another session, even though I hadn't planned it. Because I'd like to reach my 5K goal this weekend, and it would be awesome if I can reach it tonight. So yeah, I just might add in another writing session. Fidina, how is your writing going? I hope you have managed to get a nice amount of words in your project as well. I was happy to see you joining. And in the meantime, let's see how things are going in my story. I have been working more on that part of magic which is not quite known. The funny thing is that, of course, I know it, but in this background story, I can have the beauty of it is that this is a teaching situation. So the grandmother of the antagonist is actually teaching the antagonist about this part of magic, and surprises keep popping up for our antagonist. For now, certain things I've written are things that I already knew, but the antagonist didn't know yet. So that's fun. Fidina, you say, yeah, that sounds a great deal, so I'm just editing right now, not really counting. Oh yeah, I completely understand. And thank you for your compliment. Yeah, how's the editing going? So far, I've only with my previous drafts, I haven't gotten to the editing part, simply because I discovered there was so much that I needed to change that I just needed a completely new draft. So yeah, that will be a huge change in experience for me when I get to that. Fidina, you love it. Surprises are always fun. Yes, surprises indeed are always fun. And this is something, there's one particular element where the villain, the antagonist learns something that she didn't know yet. And later in the books, or in the first book, I have to correct that. Later in the first book, we will already see what she thinks of it, and how she deals with certain elements of this part of magic, or not necessarily this part of magic, but of magic in its completeness. And it will be interesting to see how other characters respond to that. Of course, I already know that, and yeah, some characters are worried. Other characters kind of have an understanding, might not approve it, but might have an understanding of why she does things. Other characters will rebel. So yeah, that will be fun. It will be in a way controversial, and when it becomes clear what part of magic she is using, that might be a very controversial thing. So it will be fun to see how that works out. And that's it will be a challenge for me to write it, because there is so much that I have to keep in mind, and so much that that I also have to foreshadow and implement already in my first book, and that has to work in other books. Fidina, you say, I see, by the way, I just noticed the camp background. Awesome. Thank you. I love this. I love this background. It was one of the first stock photos I found when looking for a tent background or camp background. And I absolutely loved it. I was inspired by your, I think you posted that in our Discord, of the cruise we were starting. And of course, when you're on a cruise ship, you have to, a cruise ship also stops at certain places. And I thought this was just the ideal place to stop and to make camp and to have our camp. So yeah, and from the looks of it, I'll move a bit to the side. From the looks of it, this is such an enormous tent. There's no campfire in front of it, but I mean, there's the tree right there on the side of the tent, and the tent even goes above that. So, and on the other side, there's a tree as well. So it's either it's a huge tent or the trees are really small. And of course, it can also be the way the photographer has made the photo. But yeah, it's fun. I think this is not a normal tent. It's I mean, if you look at it, I think it's at least, well, 3 meters high, I think. Yeah, absolutely right. It's a writing party tent. Yeah, and I love it. It's these are the things that keep us going this camp, and I think it would be very comfortable to be there. So that's why I chose it, and I will keep it as a background for all this camp, for all this month. I mean, and for the next or for months after that, I don't know yet. I'll see about that. So are you up for another writing session, Fidina? Because then I will start another one and see if I can get to 5,000 words in total for this weekend. And that will make a nice dent into my 25k goal for July. It's a nice goal. It's not as much as the official November NaNoWriMo month, but it's feasible, and that is good, especially with the weather like we have it right now. With temperatures soaring to 33 degrees. Oh, I see the sun is gone now. But it's still dry outside, so everything is okay. But yeah, it will be fun. Fidina, sure sounds great if you have the time. Yeah, I have the time. I haven't planned on elaborate dinner, so I can start in half an hour or so or later. I'll just see about that. It's more if I can still find some inspiration to write, but that will be okay. Okay, let's start another writing session, and I wish you good luck with editing. Let us know how that goes. to reach my goal of 5,000 words. Yes! So that's a good thing. I managed to write 703 words this session, which brings me at a total of 5,117 words of my 25,000 goal for this month. So I reached my goal for this weekend, and that I'm very happy with that. Thank you, Fedina. Thank you for your congratulations. It feels great to reach this goal. It's fun, and I discovered a lot. What I have written now includes a lot of foreshadowing for the future, even though this is not a prologue anymore. But it's fun. This is purely foreshadowing for myself. And I'll have to figure out how to include that in my, or how to include certain elements of what I have written in my first book and in later books, because there are already in those 5,000 words a lot of things that I would like to reference to or include in some way in my books. Because this is fun. It brings a lot of new information which I didn't expect. So yeah. Fedina, you say thanks for the session, Ilse. Hope to catch your streams again soon. I hope you will be able to. My next stream is next Wednesday, again at 2 p.m. Central European Summertime or Amsterdam time. So I hope to see you then. And please feel free to leave comments for those joining in later and watching the live stream after the recording. And feel free to leave your comments in the Discord, Fedina, and to spar whatever you want. It's always good to see you there. I hope your editing session went well. How did it go? Did you manage to edit what you want? I'm very much interested, very curious about that. It's always fun to hear about writing processes of other people, and it's fun to see how others are doing. I'm not so much. I'm not comparing my own writing process to processes of others, because you can't really compare your own process to someone else's. Fedina, you say it went well. Nice to come back to my story. Yeah, I can imagine that. I know the feeling. With my current story, I have had a block for a long time, a very long time. It turned out I needed to work through some things to be able to determine how I was going to end certain things for my main antagonist and my side antagonist and my main protagonist. So that was a challenge, but at the moment I am so far that I've worked through that, and I now know what to do and how to end things. So that was great. So yeah, I came back to my story after a very long time. So I know how it feels to be able to come back to your story. It's a great feeling. And it made me very happy to see that I could do it, and that I could still write it, and that I still had a good feeling, not only about the story, but also about the world I had created. And in fact, I thought up more things to make the world even more immersive and more interesting and more challenging for my characters. So that was a great experience. So yeah, that's fun. At the moment it's almost 5:30, and I'm quite Here in the Netherlands we would say ik ben gaar. I've had it. I've been writing for several hours now, so I really need to take a break. Fedina, I hope to catch you later on in Discord again. For those who are watching this after the live stream, feel free to leave your experiences and your questions about world building, about your stories, about your characters down in the comments. I will get to them later on when I see that you have commented, and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. Well, except for personal questions. I won't answer personal questions. Happy writing for everyone. If you want to be notified when my next live stream is, subscribe subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified automatically when the next live stream is, and then you can join us. And I hope to see you all doing well. And with this weather here in the Netherlands, I hope you all make sure that you drink enough and eat enough, and keep on writing. Have fun, everyone. Bye bye.